Hey everybody, it looks like there's, after replaying U's route again, U's ending again, looks like there's a bit more, so let's check it out. It's years later. You and I were riding on a boat. The infinitely deep blue ocean spread as far as we could see. A clear blue sky unfolded above us. There was a pair of seagulls flying overhead. The sea breeze ripped at us a little strongly, and Yu used her hand to hold her hair in check. She had recently started to grow her hair out. I think it looks nice. Somehow it seemed like she might have been starting to look like her mom, her. That, and she seemed to have become a bit more easygoing and ladylike. It's alright, I guess. Yes, I had somehow gone into college and was in my first year. Of course, I was going to a different school than you, so we never had a chance to meet on campus. You really want to know? You know, it might be better if you didn't ask. You still sure you want to know? Alright, I won't tell. But you just said you weren't going to ask. This is too confusing. There she went, changing her mind again. You can really be twisted sometimes. What are you talking about? If you were, then I'd be... Hey, stop it. I'm not like I used to be. But after that, I was reluctant to speak. I wonder if I really was different from the person I was at that time. Probably I was. Since then, no inexplicable, mysterious things have happened to me. I couldn't predict things anymore. I had gotten my memory back. Maybe I was the same. Maybe I was the same as ever. I knew that people learned, got hurt, and lost things, and that they changed as they lived life. But my basic nature hadn't changed. Some things change. Some things never did. I was still me, but myself in the past was different. If I had to explain it, I might say that was like me in another world. Maybe that was it. She stood on her tiptoes and raised her hand over my head. I had grown a head taller over the 2 years. What? Alright, it's because I want to know myself better. Yes, and to know more about myself at that time. At the time, I thought that it would be best to major in archaeology, the same as you, to better understand the weird stuff that was happening to me. I sure am. I told you. It's probably better that you don't ask. You, neither. That reminds me, your clothes are the same ones you wore then, right? There was a thin black stain on the hem of her jacket that had remained. It was a memorable stain. Our memory. I started to think as I gazed at the ocean. I thought about the time when I met you, about those unforgettable 70 days. But I should talk about the things that happened after that. For some time, we just stood there enjoying the sunshine on the floating island. The sun looked extremely bright after a week without it. Its rays were warm. At that moment, someone patted me on the shoulder. I turned back and there was... How? Sora? But, why are you here? Hearing that, Sora smiled gently. I exchanged a handshake with Sora when I met her again. I looked up at the sky above. The clear blue sky seemed to spread on forever. So I'm guessing that's the real Sora. Like the actual one that's based on the AI.
田中先生がお待ちになってます。
Well, no.
どうぞ、こちらへ。
Oh, you are... The person called Dr. Tanaka that appeared in front of us was the woman I'd seen on the monitor. It was the person I claimed to be Yu's mother.
お母さん。ゆう。よく無事で。どうして約束したでしょ。浮島に上がってきたら。久しぶりね。
What? I wonder if she was talking to me. It seemed like it was the first time that I met her. Or had I met her in the past?
どうしたの？聞きたいことあるんじゃないの？
Yes, I have tons of things I want to ask.
一つ残らず全部話すつもりですから、ご心配なく。
Alright, then first I want to...
ちょっと待って！ちょっと、待ってよ！
You?
まず何よりも先に、確かめたいことがあるの。いいかしら？どうぞ。あなたは、私の本当のお母さんじゃないと言った。それでも私は、あなたの子供なのだとも言った。私が聞きたいのは、ただ一つ。あなたは、私のお母さんなの？
Dr. Tanaka looked down. She twisted her lips sadly.
どうなの？
I wonder why you would ask such a thing. She should have already known the answer.
I am you. 今なら、間違いなく言えるわ。私は、あなたの、母親よ。You.
Oh. She stared you in the eye as she said
お
this.
母さん。
After a while, we asked Dr. Tanaka question after question. How did we get trapped? Was it an accident or not? Why could I predict things? Why did I lose my memory? What had happened in my past? Did the girl I'd seen really exist? Who was she? What had happened in Yu's past? Did Yu's father and mother really die? If so, then who was she, this Dr. Tanaka? What was the meaning of the haiku poem password? Who was Blake Winkle? What was the connection between TB virus and the accident? And what was the third eye? It was a long, long story.
またあの時のこと考えてるんでしょう。
Huh? Yeah. Hey, you. Do you know the proverb water flows and people live? Whatever flows from high to lower places. But the flow, its path has an infinite number of possibilities. People live means that like the water there are infinite ways for life to flow. That's what it means. If life has infinite possibilities, there might be another me somewhere who has a different history from me in the present.
どこか？
Yeah, say beyond this broad sky, beyond this limitless universe, there should be another universe, another me in another universe. I was thinking about that other
別
me.
の宇宙か。ねえ、もしもそんな別の宇宙があるとして、その世界に住んでる私たちも、こうして今みたいに付き合ってるのかな？
No. Oh yeah, there is. And sure
ど
there
う
is.
してわかるの？
I can tell because I can. You see, if I do this... I drew you close and kissed her. We were surrounded by the spring sun and clouds floating in the sky, the rippling ocean and the song of seagulls. I felt everything about you through her skin. Her warmth, her scent, her touch, heartbeat, and even the color of her heart. I could see through you completely then. It was exactly the third eye. Ultimate wisdom. Yes, if I do this, then we can transcend time. Okay, I'm going to now use bad ending. So here it goes. Oops. Daybreak. The date had changed to Sunday, May 7th. Since that time, we hadn't slept at all. I was starting to feel badly again. A headache, dizziness, nausea, and coldness felt like they were seeping from deep in the core of my body. I suffered from a wave of dull pain and extreme fatigue. I was only half conscious. Exhaustion had reached my limit, but I tried to keep my energy from being sapped away. Surrounded by darkness and endless fear, we had fought our way this far, and there was no sign that things were going to get better. Communication lines with the outside were still down, and we had yet to find a clue that might lead to escape. Slowly, you started to get ill, too. Her face was pale. Her breathing was heavy. Beads of sweat stood out on her forehead. She seemed to have a terrible fever. I was not the only one suffering mentally and physically. There had been signs from the day before, but we couldn't do anything about it. The infirmary was already underwater. We could only endure the passing of time. Is this it? Is this the end? Is giving up the only choice? I looked up helplessly. The ceiling was crusty with cigarette smokes. I couldn't see anything else. I'm going to die. There's nothing I can do. Just die. That was my conclusion. I knew then exactly how much strength I had left. I felt utterly hopeless, useless, incompetent. Yes, I would die, and I was fine with that. I didn't care. Without a memory, I thought I'd been the equivalent of dead to start with. Nothing changes. I had nothing to lose. It was already decided. I remember what Tsugumi had told me, that I would die in 7 days. Her prediction was true. I don't care. This is the way it should be. I relaxed and looked down, and I saw you. She slumped back into a chair and her breathing looked labored.
約束?
Yeah, I promise. Suddenly I felt the warmth I'd felt from Yu's fingers when I made the promise again in my fingertips. You. Yes, if I didn't do anything, you would die too. No, I wouldn't let that happen. I don't care if I die, but you is... Somehow I had to save her, because I had promised. How could I... How? Then... It was only a short time until this estimated time of explosion. Wow. I'm guessing the crater used the same sound effect in 999 as well. The security office started shaking violently. The complex screeched. Alarms pierced the air with shrill warnings.
隔壁強度が限界を超えました。各フロアにて漏水、浸水が始まっています。ツバイトシュトック第4区画浸水開始。同じく第5区画圧壊開始。第6区画。
Sora reporting the situation in a moment. What's wrong? What else?
いいえ、もうやめましょう。こんなこと告げても無意味ですね。この区画も浸水が始まりました。ここもしばらくすれば被害が現れます。
I see. How long do you think this will hold?
20分から25分。ですが、今すぐに悪化してもおかしくない状況です。
Normal lighting went out and emergency lighting kicked in. I figured that the generator room was probably damaged.
結局、お二人をお救いすることができませんでした。本当に申し訳ございません。本当に。
Don't be. It's not your fault. I think you did a great job. I headed over to beside you. You, this place isn't going to hold. Let's go. You was completely weakened. She looked up powerlessly and nodded slightly. I carried you on my back.
どこへ向かわれるのですか?
I don't know. Somewhere where we can gain a little more time. I intend to stake our lives on the possibility that we would be rescued until the very end. I can't think of anything to do other than that. I promised her that I would protect her no matter what. Where's the safest place left among the floors?
ブリッドシュトックの制御室なら、あるいは、しかし、それでももって数十分の差です。
That's enough. I was going to leave the room, but I suddenly stopped. What are you going to do, Sora?
私はもう、お二人とご一緒することができません。浸水の影響で、館内に設置された映像デバイスに、かなりの損傷が出てしまいました。私が姿を現せる場所は、 限られてしまっています。ですがせめて、音声を通して、お二人を制御室までご案内したいと思います。
Alright, please do.
はい。
When I left the room, I found water leaking from walls and spots. The bulkhead squealed.
ではご案内します。制御室まで今現在で無事なルートは、
We went down to the third floor. Laymu was still holding. The estimated time of implosion that Sora had predicted should have passed long before. Laymu kept resisting to the end as if Sora was willing it to protect us. You gasped, suffering terribly as I carried her on my back. Be strong. Be patient. It's just a little further. I lied. I was a liar. A little more patience, and then what? There was nothing I could do, so I lied. I was a big liar. We were close to the control room, and again I saw it. The vision of the little girl.
どうしたの?
She stood across the corridor. Her eyes met mine, and then a name flashed in my mind as clear as a bell. Coco!
少年さん、どうなされたのですか?
Turning on our heels, Coco ran off in the other direction. I chased after her, still carrying you. Coco!
少年さん、引き返してください。そっちは。
I was chasing after her at full speed, but the flooding and shaking ground slowed me down. From the beginning, it was a crazy, reckless idea to run after her with you on my back. I lost sight of her. It was a dead end in a narrow corridor in front of a small door. Where is this? I thought that maybe she was beyond the door. In that instant, I glimpsed something in my head. It was a vague, abstract image. I wasn't sure, but definitely, I felt it. I could see it. That there should be a beam of hope ahead. I lowered you, trying to open the door of Himmel, but the door wouldn't budge. Sora, open this door!
無理です。その扉は私の管轄外なのです。
I pounded on the door. I know it. On the other side of this door. You'll be safe in there. Please, open this door! Water spouted fiercely from the corridor wall. An animal-like growl echoed from far away. The complex pitched violently. I saw a massive amount of water flooding down the corridor ahead. It was as if a pitch-black monster were opening its massive mouth to attack. I ran frantically to you. I felt as if I were moving in slow motion. I won't make it! For an instant, time stopped and then started again. The water swallowed us in a moment. In the water, my eyes met Yu's. She was trying desperately to reach her hand out. I held her hand. Yu squeezed mine back. Yu mumbled something, but the words didn't reach me. The words just changed into small bubbles and vanished in the darkness. Yu slowly closed her eyes. Yu? What? What did you say? Of course I want to know. I shook her hand. There was no response. That's not fair. She's teasing me again. I touched her cheek. It was cold. Cold. Of course, it's because we're in the water. Ha 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 ha. It's because we're in this cold water. I squeezed her hand. Hey. I said hey. Hey, you. Tell me. She didn't squeeze my hand back. She didn't move. She didn't tell me anything anymore. It's not true. No. It's a lie. This can't be true. It has to be a lie. This is a lie. I let go the last breath from my lungs. I closed my eyes to avert them from reality.
約束?
Yeah, I promise.
もし、約束破ったら?
I won't. I'll see that you're safe.
絶対に? 1% たりともない。
There's not even 0.000000001% possibility.
こんな自信過剰な約束、聞いたこともないけど、仕方ない。付き合ってあげるとしますか。
I didn't make it. I couldn't keep my promise. I couldn't protect her. I was a liar. A damn liar. Just at that moment, I felt a soft, warm light. A light? A ray of light sliced through the plain, dark world. The door of Himmel started to open. Beyond the door spread a dazzling white world. Heaven. Heaven. Was it an illusion? No, it wasn't. This was reality. This was undoubtedly the truth of my world. I knew that. If we went to the place on the other side of the door, we could meet again. This time I would be able to protect her. You. I quietly opened my eyes. Wow. Talk about depressing. I heard the other endings, like Takeshi, like the Tsugumi and Sora endings, were much more depressing than Yu's. Or any other. But wow. Because only you are an infinity loop. Yeah. That was sad. I was just plain sad. Ow. Felix. Terphelians. I can't hold all these feels. No. This made me teary-eyed, but it didn't actually make me cry. I bet this game is gonna make me cry. Anyway, that's all. See you next episode, everybody, where I'm gonna start a new route. Goodbye.